Hello guys, let's continue with our design of X unit number 5. Till today's lecture we have in last three lectures basically we have gone through couple of things. First we tried to understand what is design of X, what is X, what is design for excellence, what are different values X can take, or what are different things by X we can interpret, like design for manufacturability, design for robustness, design for safety. So we try to understand that first. Then we have gone through what is design for manufacture, DFM, and what is design for assembly. So keeping better design for the manufacturing perspective, better design from the assembly perspective. We have gone through that in the second lecture. Then we have gone through the guidelines for those DFM and design for assembly. Then in yesterday's lecture we have gone through couple of things. Design for robustness. What do we understand by robust design? What is a robust design? How we can make design robust. And then we have gone through the design for safety. From safety perspective, what different things we need to worry about, and we need to keep in mind while we are doing the design. So we have gone through robustness and safety in yesterday's lecture, and today we will go through a couple of more design of for X, like that is design for reliability. That is the important aspect we need to worry about, and DFE, design for environment. So these two aspects of the design for X will go through in today's lecture. What is reliability, design for reliability, and design for environment. Okay. Now DFR, design for reliability. Basically, what is reliability? If you say a person is reliable, that means what? That person will do whatever he is supposed to do in particular condition. Similarly, what is a product is reliable? What do we understand by that? That means product will perform what it is supposed to perform in the given conditions, or maybe some variations in the conditions. So a reliable product means it will not fail, or for whatever environment it is designed for, in that environment for a given period of time. Means if it is expected to go for n number of cycles, it will go for that cycle. Like a battery has, say, if the battery has a life cycle of 3000 or maybe 1000 charges, so it should be able to at least up to 1000 charges, it should be able to give you 90% of the performance. After that, if the charging comes down drastically, it is understandable. But if your charging come down after 500 recharges, then we can say it is not reliable. So something is not reliable, that means it is not performing for in a given condition for given lifetime. It is not performing as per the expectation. Okay. So what is DFR? Essentially, it is a process. So to ensure that product or system is a single product or the whole complete system perform whatever function it is expected to perform in a given environment for a given time. So these are different means. It should also perform for given time. Environment should be whatever you have designed for. So if it performs as per the expectation, then we can say it is a reliable product. Okay. Why it is important? Because as I said, you don't want your product or your whatever component you have designed, you don't want it to be fail while it is execution, while it is working. So like a brake should be reliable. That means it should not fail when you are driving a vehicle. So now, why DFR, or design for reliability, is important? Because there are some few things why it is important. Product differentiation and electronic technology. Say, like in today's world, everybody is competing with everyone. So there are same phone will having so many different varieties of phone for same many different functionalities. So like how we will compare? Okay, this in 10,000 you will get uh, 5 types of phone having same kind of functionality. So which you will prefer? Which is more reliable? like whichever has less crash, whichever we needs less reboot, screen performs good, its screen doesn't break quite that fast. So something which is reliable, you will go for that in today's world. Reliability assurance, if you are guaranteeing, like some I'm generally I take an example of iPhone. Within 1 year of iPhone, it has a guarantee. So if something goes wrong, they will simply take the phone and give you another phone. So basically, they will not, because they know that at least for 1 year nothing will happen to their phone. So this kind of assurance that nothing will go wrong. If anything goes wrong, they will take care of it on their own. So like that, it is kind of assurance that our product will perform as for given reliability. Cost control. 70% of the budget is allocated to this. For the whatever budget is allocated for this project, most of it is allocated for the design. So reliable design is very important for cost control. Preserving profits. As I said, once you control the cost, so automatically your profits will be controlled by the proper reliable design. Now, what are different, how it flows? So we need to identify. These are the different steps for the flow of your design for reliability. Identify something, design for it, then okay, then we have to go for analysis. Once that design is completed, do the analysis, do the verification, again do the design. You will be having this kind of loop until the product is reliable as per your expectation. After verify, validate, see if something goes wrong, again do the analysis, again verify. Okay, if you see that it is not reliable as per the expectation, again go to the design. So like that, it will be in the loop of design, analyze, verify, design, or verify, then validate, analyze. So depending on, and once you after the validation, you think okay, it is good from the reliability perspective, it is working as per your expectation of the reliability, then you will give it for monitor and control. Basically you will give it as an output. So this is how the activities flow for reliability. The same thing is shown here: design, verify, review, product test. So same thing is in one line it is shown. So like performance, testability, manufacturability, service, cost, quality, those things are there. But to have low cost, you need to have a reliable design. Design, do the design, do the verification, do the review. If everything goes fine, go for the production and testing. No, again do the modify the design, do the verification, review, like that. So successful design for reliability requires integration of product design and process planning into the cohesive interactive activity known as concurrent engine. So all these things should work together for a design to be a reliable design. Like your planning and your design should be working together to have a better outcome. Okay, so we talked about what is robust design. Uh, then we talked about what is reliable design. How reliable design means what? Now just kind of a recap is that what is unreliable. So design mistake. If something is wrong, you are doing the wrong calculations, or you are not selecting a material properly. Those are design mistakes. If you are like, there might be manufacturing defects, like while doing the manufacturing, the temperature was not proper, or the training was not given, maintenance was not proper, or design limits were like, if the whatever limit of design was up to from minus 20 to 30 degrees Celsius it will work. So if those temperature are exceeded, it will fail. Environment factors like humidity, rain, so all these things will affect your reliability. So you need to, while doing the design for reliability, you need to work on all those factors. Okay, now let's go to the next part, that is design for the environment. So as the name suggests, while doing the design, you need to keep environment in mind. Carbon footprint, whatever we are putting behind, we need to make sure that we are putting as less as possible carbon footing. We are hampering the environment as minimum as possible. So while doing the design, if you do better design, you can have better output for the environment also. So design for environment is a design approach to reduce overall human health and environmental impact of a product process, where it is impacting the environment. So if your product, or it is hampering, it is affecting the environment, you need to rethink, redesign, so that it is will have a minimal impact on the environment. Like example, material selection. So if you are using a plastic, try to use recycled plastic which we can recycle, right? Or it's better to use, like if you use metal, metal can be recycled, right? Or something like paper, which can be easily biodegradable. It can easily degrade in nature, and it can be again go back to the nature, but it will not have any kind of footprint. So product which can be recycled, product, or which are biodegradable, like now trash bags, we are getting trash bags which are biodegradable. Or this if you get cold drink bottles and all that, it will be having now recycle value like 15 rupees per kg and like that, right? So basically having this will you are not putting you are putting as minimum as possible carbon footprint, maximum life expectancy. Now if you see, like the plastic bottles are also, there are many types. Some are very thin, which we have to crush and throw away, and some of them are like thick, which we can use again and again. So if you are utilizing the same bottle for for 100 cycles or 100 refill, that means you are basically it is replacing 100 plastic bottles. So increasing the life expectancy, basically you are reducing the usage, and you are recycling basically that. So having more life to your product will be having it will have a better impact on the design. Improve disposability. Whenever you are doing disposable, you have to think about the, so if you are throwing something away, we have to make sure if it is biodegradable, it is good for nature. Or if it is a packaging, whatever packaging you are having, okay, if it is like a plastic wrapper is there, it's not good for the disposal. But if you are having a paper wrapper, then it can easily it can be easily disposed, right? Improve serviceability or repairability. If your product can be easily serviceable or repairable, that means it can be reused again and it will not be thrown. So having better service is having better repairability is better for environment. So while doing the design, we need to think of all these things, so that it will have a minimum impact on. Four main concepts under DFE. There are four main things we need to worry about, or we need to keep that in mind. Design for environmental processing and manufacturing. So while we are doing the processing, like mining, where metals are they are they mine from this. So at that time, whatever you are having a minimum impact on the nature. You are not putting too much harmful gases, chemicals in the environment. Or same in the manufacturing also, like chemical plant, or in your workshop, you are not putting too many, you are not creating too many hazardous gases, which are impacting the ozone layer, and which are impacting the nature. So you need to worry about that while we are doing the design, that environmental is being taken care while you are doing the processing and manufacturing. Design for environmental packaging, like packaging, whatever packaging you are doing, it should be environmental friendly. Like the package should be recycled, package should be biodegradable, or it should be we should be able to get back the package and use it for the next packaging, like that. So packaging is important for the environmental perspective. Design for disposable or reuse, as I said, easily disposable or biodegradable. Or if it is not, if we can reuse that again, like a box, cardboard box, we can use for another packaging. It can be again used until it is it is torn. So and after that you can, it is biodegradable, so or you can easily recycle that. Okay. Design for energy efficiency. If you reduce the energy requirement, like if you are using solar, wind energy, then automatically you are having less impact on the environment. You are creating less pollution. So you are helping the environment. So having better, energy efficient environment is good for the environment. How this DFE process work? Design for environment. First, we need to put a set of agenda. Okay, these things we need to, or we will be taking care while we are doing the design. That okay, this will not have plastic wrappers. our packaging will not be plastic, or our product harmful gases will not be. So you'll be having a specific agenda for DFE. Then we'll identify what is the impact on the environment this thing has. Okay. Then accordingly we'll select material and guideline. So selection of material very important from the environmental perspective, and the guidelines we will be selecting. Then all those guidelines will be applied for the design. So when you are doing a design, you will not worry about the environment. But once your design is in process, you will be keep applying these guidelines. Okay, these guidelines are made. These are the guidelines for the environment perspective, and these are made. So we'll try to find out what is the impact on the environment and compare with the goal. Okay, this is the impact on the environment. Is it as per our goal, or it is impacting badly the environment? Or if it is impacting badly, then again change the modify the design. Come back again, modify the design, again assess the impact on the environment. Okay, now the gases are within the limits. Okay, then go ahead with the design. Okay, the material what we are using, it is easily disposable. Go ahead with it. So basically, with whatever design, check whether your DFE goals are reached. And once your DFE goals are reached, then you can say my design is good. It is safe for the design, for environment perspective, and then go ahead with the design. So this is how your design for environment process works. We'll be having proper guidelines of your environment guidelines. Then you have goals, and while doing the design, you will see whether those all goals are achieved. If it is not, then you will be modifying, refining your design, and ultimately end design will be having better design for the environment. Okay. So DFE relies on 8 axioms. First, manufacture without producing hazardous waste. Whatever manufacturing you are doing, it should not have output as hazardous. It is not impact on the environment should not be dangerous. Use clean technologies, not clean room technology means not clean or clean house or clean your workshop. What clean technology means, you are using like say a clean electric motor. So it is better, we having less gas or CNG. Like for the car, CNG is better than your petrol or diesel. So this kind of clean technologies or clean energy will be better from the environment perspective. Reduce product chemical emissions. What chemical emissions are there? Try to reduce them. You're having minimum chemical emissions. If you have those, you should have a kind of a process in your system. Those emissions are processed, and you are, in the environment you are throwing out only non-hazardous gases. Reduce product energy consumption. Try to reduce the energy consumption. So if you reduce the energy consumption, automatically you are utilizing less energy, and that means automatically you are helping environment because you are using less coal. Okay. Use non-hazardous recyclable materials. So whatever materials you are using, those should be recyclable. Those should not be non-hazardous. Those should be non-hazardous. Use recyclable material and reuse components. So if you are using components again and again, that means automatically you are not using new component. That means you are producing less components, and that means you are having helping environment. Design for ease of disassembly. While you are doing the disassembly, if it should be easy to disassemble. Product reuse or recycle at the end of the life, like wrapper. It should be easily we can use it for some other purpose. In India, it is very much people, once the product is done, they will use it for some other purpose. So like that, recycling or reuse of your product will be helping your environment. So your design should be in such a way that you are trying to have minimum impact on the environment and maximum output, and with more profit.